Mhm. I'm receiving answers, not from everyone. Ensure everyone gives me the answer. Hmm. Perfect. Perfect. So, today I'm not going to ask many broad questions, right? But we'll be making short decisions instantly and we'll be applying it in our own work and we'll be moving along the ladder. All right, all right. Thank you for those who have responded. Others, please make sure that you respond when you get a chance in our future sessions. Well, perfect. So, today we have set a central question. It is not which sentence sounds more academic, right? Main question, if we happen to ask question like, which sentence sounds more academic and which is not, this will mislead us, right? A sentence can sometimes sound formal and still hide the responsibility. And at the same time, a sentence can sound simple and still communicate the science with power. So, a central question is this: which form makes the actor, the action, the ownership, and the emphasis clearest for this reader? Now, keep in mind, what is it? Which form makes the actor, the action, the ownership, and the emphasis clearest for this reader? Because you're going to deal with a reader, you have to choose carefully sentences, the voice, and everything for the ease of what your reader is going to do. That is the first principle. Well, so we'll be asking this central question throughout today's work. When you revise your paragraph, not now, later today, I want you to return to this question. The best style is not the one that follows a rigid grammar rule. The best style is the one that helps the real reader understand the research with less effort and less doubt. Now, giving reader a sense of suspicion and doubt and giving reader a greater effort or a cognitive load to understand your research makes your research difficult for them. And when you read your paper last time, or rather now while you're reading your research papers, you will realize that how these difficult cognitive loads make your exercise of reading difficult. So you should not do the same to your reader. So that is a simple central uh, concern that we are going to keep as the central question today, right? Keep this question visible as we revise. I'm inviting you to uh, take a snipping tool and catch a snapshot of this question. Which form makes the actor, action, ownership, and emphasis clearest for the reader? Keep it saved because we need this to be popped up every time when we work on our revisions and our applications in our future slides. So, my dear friends, we are moving. By the end of today, I wish you would achieve these outcomes. And I'm helping you to achieve those outcomes. What they? You see that they are written as actions, not as topics. By the end of this session, you should be able to identify how style works, distinguish forms by their effect, select the form that best helps the reader, revise your own paragraph, and justify your decisions. Please take 30 seconds and underline mentally or on your worksheet the outcome that matters most for your next writing task. Is the message clear? Is the message clear? Please take 30 seconds and underline mentally or perhaps in your worksheet the outcome that matters most for your next writing task. If you are writing a proposal, visibility and ownership may matter most. If you're writing a method section, focus and economy may matter most. If you're writing a discussion, confidence may matter most. Remember, we'll touch all these 5 areas of research paper today. Are you guys all right? Did you underline the most impactful learning outcome of the day? That matters for the next task. Can somebody respond me so that we can move on? කවුරුත් මාත් එක්ක තරහ වෙලා නෑ නේද? I'm sure that you all are doing great. Perfect. Thank you, Ajani. Ajani, right? Okay, all right. Let's move on. Now, while we complete today's session, we'll be completing the 3rd portfolio artifact, right? You are asked for a clearer idea of what enters the portfolio. So I want to make that clear at the very beginning. For session 3, your portfolio artifact is one integrated revision record. One integrated revision record. You will not submit every small exercise separately. You will submit one original paragraph from your own writing. Your voice diagnosis will be looking through a framework voice. If you have had a time to read the central idea posted in a page in Moodle, you must be knowing it now. I call it the voice framework. So your voice diagnosis, then your revised paragraph, a short commentary explaining at least 3 decisions you made, and your own checklist for the future revision. So those are the things that I want you to add into your writing portfolio. So please open the worksheet now and look at the part where you will paste your own paragraph. You have to bring your own paragraph into the worksheet, paste it right now. This is the document we will use throughout the session. The short tasks before breakout are training steps, right? We'll be doing training with one exercise for everyone. We will be applying the training exercise into your own writing in a pair activity that we'll be doing in breakouts. The portfolio artifact is the revised paragraph and the thinking behind it. Now, it is not just your revised paragraph that should come into the portfolio. The revised paragraph should come, the originally written paragraph should come, and then the revised paragraph should come. And bridging the gap between those, you have to bring what was your thinking behind this revision. So that is what I want you to submit as journal or rather portfolio artifact 3 today. Is it all clear? Give me a thumbs up if it is all clear. Perfect. Perfect. Thank you. So friends, let us look into the framework with which we are going to work now, right? Worksheet means worksheet, which is uploaded there. You have to download it. It must be there in Word format. You have to keep it open. Is it true? Some of you say there isn't any worksheet uploaded there.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
I also
sir.
can't see anything.
So you didn't find the workshop material. Well, let me see. So it is named as live session working document. And when you open it, you'll see that it is named as worksheet. I'm sorry, it's simply the wording that mattered. Did you get it? It's just after. Oh, no, not there, not there, not there, not there, not there. Slide 3, live activity, core concept. Let me share it on the chat for you to download quickly, so that you all can download it just now from here. Here you get it. Download it. Have you all got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. Everyone, please download it. And when the session starts, somewhere in the mid, I'll be uploading it to the Moodle as well. Sorry, it was last night nearing midnight that I finished all the worksheets. But you have it right now. Don't worry. So you have everything you need for today's session. Keep the worksheet open in a new tab and follow through the worksheet with me. I think things are set for us to move on. Now, this is what we call today's framework. We are going to look at today's framework, voice. For all of us to deal with your own writing as well as the what we call, for the practice purpose, we'll be doing something from very simple, which I devise for you all to engage. They are actually rehearsals, and you'll be applying those rehearsals into your personal writing. And please now copy your personal for today's revision work. Paste it to the place where your worksheet, it has given a space where you should paste your original paragraph. All right? Well, so we'll be working out throughout today's session with this framework. We call it the voice framework. V actually stands for visibility. You know what is visibility? It is, does the reader need to be visible here? You see? Does the researcher need to be visible here? Does the previous authors who've been working on this particular, if you are reporting something related to literature, you should let the previous worker who worked on, or rather the previous researcher, visible. So the first question is all about visibility. The central question is, does the researcher need to be visible? Say simply, whether you need to appear there in your sentence. Then what is O stands for? O is all about ownership, which actually questions in your sentences whose action, whose finding or interpretation is this? Whose interpretation, whose action, whose finding is this? Is it yours? Is it previous researchers? Or is it a general finding that is evident everywhere? So that ownership should be part and parcel of our framework. So the first step is visibility, whether you need to be visibly appear in the sentence. That's number one. You, in the sense, the researcher. Then ownership. When you post a fact to a sentence, you have to ensure that whose action you are reporting, whose finding you are reporting, whose interpretation you are reporting, the ownership should be clearly stated there, or rather indicated there. That stands for O. And then what I stands for? I actually is standing for the information focus. In this particular thing, we actually ask what should receive attention at the beginning of the sentence. What should receive the attention at the beginning of the sentence? You got? So that is what I, information focus. Then what C stands for? As you can see, it is confidence. What do we do in confidence? There we ask the question, is the claim stated at a level the evidence can support? Now, there has to be evidence supporting your claim. Is the claim stated at the right strength with right what? Evidence. That is C. What is E? E stands for economy. Economy does not mean that you are reducing and cutting down your sentences. Economy means something else. What is it? Can the sentence say the same thing with less unnecessary weight? Now, you should be able to tell the same thing in lengthy stories. At the same time, you are able to read it in the shortest possible, what we call the short and sweet form. So economy is the last concern in voice framework E, economy, in which we question what? Can the sentence say the same thing which we intend with less unnecessary weight? Now, this weight includes the weight of the words, the weight of cognitive load, and perhaps weight of jargon. So, we are to reduce all the weights and ensure that we are providing the reader with the least weight possible so that the processing is fast. Did you get it? Please do not treat this framework as a grammar polishing tool. This is not a grammar polishing tool, right? This is actually a reader support tool. So you should read this as a reader support tool because you're the writer and you're writing it for someone else to read. Now, most of what you forget in your writing is you write because you know the whole story from A to C with no doubt at all, but you're communicating it to someone else which you have never seen, which you have never heard of, which who did not come into any dialogue with you on your research, but you are projecting your message to him or her, right? So your writing should have, or rather the voice framework will be helping you to see this whole process as a reader support tool. You got it? A paragraph in that sense may not have a serious problem under every lens. Your task is to diagnose what matters for your paragraph, right? So we are going to look through all these lenses: V lens, O lens, I lens, C lens, and E lens. Visibility, ownership, information focus, confidence, and economy. Through all these lenses, we'll be fine-tuning our writing so as enabling our reader understand it easily, perfectly, and as Herd says, crystal clear telepathic communication. Is that all clear, what we are going to consider in voice framework? Give me a voice response, please. Hello.
Yes, sir. It's clear.
Perfect. Thank you. We are moving on. How we will work today. Here is the working rhythm. First, you notice it privately. Second, you choose in the chat or on the worksheet. Now you have two options, the worksheet and the chat. Okay. Third, we discuss a few explanations. We invite a couple of explanations in the class, right? Fourth, you revise with your partner, just one partner to deal with. And fifth, you apply the same principle to your own paragraph, which you have now copied into your worksheet. This rhythm is intentional. Keep in mind that this is made intentionally as a pedagogical scaffolding. Why? Some of us need time before we speak. I know that. Some of us prefer to test and answer in writing before explaining it orally, right? That is acceptable. For today, short answers are valuable and they are valued high. When I ask for A or B, type only A or B first, right? We will discuss the reason after everyone has had time to choose between A and B, right? So you don't need to provide your reasons in the chat space when I ask for that. In the first instance, I'll invite you to choose one, and then everyone happen to choose on that particular option, then we will go on to see the reason, right? So this is how we are going to work today. This is actually to ensure your quiet participation, but even though you're going to be quiet, I want you to be partaking in the process. I'm sure that you are getting me. You can think. You have time to think before you speak. So that is my planning for you today. So mini task 1. What sounds scientific? Let us start with this is a low risk choice. Now I'm going to show you 2 sentences. I have not shown it yet, right? Read both sentences silently. Do not ask which one sounds more formal. That is not the question, right? Ask which one helps you understand the action more quickly, right? Do not ask from these A and B sentences. Do not ask which one is more formal. Ask which one helps you understand the action more quickly. So that is the purpose. Here comes A. Read it carefully. It says, an investigation of the effect of temperature on battery performance was conducted. You read it. You are not yet to choose between before you read version B. Here comes B. It says, we investigated how temperature affected battery performance. Now type either A or B or both. I'm giving time for everyone to think. I'm glad that there is a diversity in your answers. I'm glad. Perfect. Perfect. Now, those who have chosen, let me ask some of you, please answer those whom I actually invite. Now, let me ask from Hashini, why did you choose A? Hashini from Civil Engineering. Or Chaturya from Supply Chain Management. Can you tell me why you choose A? Come on, my dear friends, help me because you're helping me as well as I'm helping you. Chaturya, are you there?
Yes,
Or
sir.
else, okay. So can you tell me why you choose A?
So I feel that version A is formal than version B because it clearly gives the idea and also it seems like formal.
Thank you. Can I ask the same question from Jalini from electrical engineering? Jalini or Jalini? Why did you choose A?
Yeah, the A and looking something scientific and more formal. When I read section version B, it's like someone talking with us. It's not as a writing format, so I chose A.
Is Imanti there? Or can I hear from Pasan from CSC?
Hello, sir.
Yes, Pasan. Why did you choose A?
The same reason as before. Before, because I felt is version A is more formal than version B. As
All right, all right,
seems to be
all right.
more
Thank you.
talkative style.
Perfect. So can I hear from Udara from CSC? Why did you choose B?
Sure, sir. So it says choose for reader clarity and not formality. So I went with which version gives the instant idea when you reach the paragraph. So I felt B does that.
Great. Okay, thank you. And can I hear from Nilan from Spatial Data Sciences? Why did you choose
Yes, sir.
B?
All right. B seems to be very direct and very easy to understand compared to version A.
All right. Can I hear from someone else who choose B, who can volunteer and tell why did you choose B?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
So I choose answer B because the researcher or the investigator in this answer is visible for me, and also it keeps that ownership within the study as well when we are reading the answer like the version B. So even though the version A is feel like it's scientific, but I felt version B is the best thing as the answer for this question.
Thank you. Now we have a set of people who happen to choose both. Now, let me start with Nadisha. Why did you say both? Can you tell one reason for each?
Actually, sir, version A is more formal, but both sentences carry the same idea. So only the grammar is different. So when it comes to the word, the definition scientific, I believe the explanation and the clarity of the sentence and how confidence that we tell that sentence as a scientific one. So both sentences carry the same idea. That's why I chose both.
Well, Ishadi, are you there?
Yes, sir. Same answer as Nadisha. Like it says the same thing. I mean, we can choose to write in version A or version B, and in papers, um, I see both the versions. So what sounds scientific for me is whether the idea gives a scientific something. So for me, it gives the same idea. So that's why.
Well, can I ask the idea from Darshan from TCP? Are you there?
I think both the versions have same keywords, so that's why I think they both have the same clarity.
Perfect. So Can I ask for the last, as a last view from Nisalya from Textile PhD holder? Yes, reading for PhD. Yeah,
Hello, sir.
yeah.
I also chose both because I feel both are grammatically scientific English. I have seen both of them in journal. These are two versions, but I have seen both of them in journals. And just the first one is more formal, but I feel like they are burying the action a little. And for the second one, it's very direct and more understanding for the reader.
Perfect. Now you see, you just have to make a judgment between A or B, and both were written in plain and clear English, and they are quite simple. And of course, there is no wrong in using E either, right? But the problem here is you have to question. You have to question while you're writing on in your narration which fits best. As you know, as the last speaker happened to say, if there is a little bit buried in version A than B, you might choose for version B, right? That's once again fitting to the context in which you are writing, because an isolated sentence cannot tell everything. It tells something within the context. So these decisions are actually the first steps of your writing. So you are doing a reader support writing with which you have to you have to wear the boots of your reader, right? That's the simple first impression I want to give you. Well, did you see that there is more than one defensible answer? It can be A, it can be B, it can be both, right? But once again, all that depends on the context, right? The point is to notice that formality alone is not reliable guide to scientific quality. So learn that lesson. Formality is explicitly there in version A, but formality alone is not a reliable guide to scientific quality. Get it? Because becoming formal does not communicate your message entirely. Therefore, there will be times that you need to be formal, and there will be times where you have to be informal and more reader friendly. Switch between the two. That's all right. That's my advice for you. Did you get it? Give me your response with a thumbs up or whatever emotion you like to share. Did you get the idea? What I'm convincing you? Perfect. Let's move on. Let's move on. Now, if you just look between A and B, right? Now, if you have seen what was there in A and what was there in B, version A actually places the investigation in the subject position and hides the researcher. The burial of the researcher is there. That can be useful when the investigation itself is the topic. If in your episode of writing, if investigation itself is a story, A could be fine, right? Version B actually places the researchers in the subject position and makes the action direct. This can be useful when responsibility matters, right? One of the common myths in scientific writing is that the passive is automatically more scientific. It's a common myth. Keep that in mind. Another myth is that active voice is always better. So there are two myths that you have to handle carefully. What is the first myth? Passive is automatically more scientific. What is the second myth? Active voice is always better. You have to get rid from both myths, right? Neither myth helps you as a writer. We need to ask what the reader should notice here. In your worksheet, write one sentence beginning. Now you are going to work on your own worksheet. One sentence, how it begins. I selected A or B because the reader's attention is directs towards the blank or whatever, you say, I selected what A or B and say your reason. Now it's time for you to enter that into your worksheet. I wish you had enough time to enter into your worksheet. So let's move on. So we are moving into a second mini task. Find the actor and action. So visibility typically begins with the simple call, with this simple call. So we are moving to visibility. Please look at the 4 sentences. I'm going to show you 4 sentences, right? Your task is to So friends, your task is to identify the grammatical subject of the sentence, the main action, the decision maker, and whether the sentence is clear or partly clear or unclear. Those are the decisions that you have to make. What are they? Identify the grammatical subject, the main action, who is the decision maker, and whether the sentence is clear, partly clear, or unclear. Start silently. Sentence 1 makes the researcher what? We excluded. Look at sentence 2. Sentence 2 places the samples first. Sentence 1 makes the researcher visible. Sentence 2 places the sample visible. And let's come to sentence 3. What happens in sentence 3? Sentence 3 makes the study the actor. That is common. But we should ask whether a study can logically exclude samples. Now we are coming to sentence 4. Sentence 4 hides the decision behind it was decided. The kind of wording often leaves the reader asking who, what decided. Now, go to your worksheet and complete the table on your worksheet. You have to fill out for each of the sentence the table. Do fill it for each question. Find the subject, action, decision maker, whether it is clear, partly clear, or unclear. I'm giving you couple of minutes for you to complete that task. If you are done, please give me a thumbs up so that I know we can move ahead. Friends, if you're done, let me know so that we can move safe forth. Thank you. Thank you. Some of you are confirming. Please give me a thumbs up once you're done. I've got just one thumbs up, which means others are working. Okay, all right. Now I'm receiving thumbs up, which means most of you are done. Perfect. Perfect. All right. Let's move on. So you have seen that these 4 different types of sentences give emphasis to different agents, either action or the actor, and based on the context in which it is written and the grammar itself tells the story clearly or partly clearly or unclear. So you see, these are simple examples that you navigate and you can certainly apply in your own writing. All right? Well, let's move. Now remember, visibility is not ego, right? Now, in the instances where writer must appear, you should appear. Because it's not ego, it is the responsibility, and our framework is guiding the reader to understand your story. You see, it is responsibility and reader guidance. So it is not ego at all. When you say we did it, I did it, and so on, it's not your ego. It's making you responsible who did it. And of course, it's helping the reader to understand what is the point here. The point here is not that the writer must appear in every sentence. Keep that in mind. It does not mean that, I'm not supporting the second ego. Active voice is always the best, right? It is not the case. The point is that research decisions need responsible wording. If contaminated samples were excluded, a reviewer may want to know who excluded them, by what rule, and why. You see, in some contexts, the passive is useful because the samples are the topic. But a phrase like "it was decided" is often weak because the decision maker disappears. Please revise sentence 4 in one clearer form. Now this is time for it. Revise sentence 4 in one clearer form. If you go back to the worksheet, you'll see what is sentence 4. You might write, we excluded 3 contaminated samples because, right? If the actor is truly less important, you will say 3 contaminated samples were excluded according to the predefined quality control criteria or something. You see now we excluded 3 contaminated samples because that is sample A and sample B. 3 contaminated samples were excluded according to the predefined quality control criteria. You see, the second version gives us reason and reduces uncertainty. Why is all this important? Because you are ensuring crystal clear communication in your research writing. Are you getting me? Now it is time for you to revise sentence 4 in one clearer form. I have provided you with two distinct example situations, sentences. You can think of yours. All right, friends, let's move on. I think we are working far more effectively today, right? You have the worksheet, you have the decisions to make. Now you see, these are little decisions, very short and instant decisions that we take in each instance, making you convinced that what should be your voice, right? All right, let's move on. We are moving into a mini task 3. Change the focus. Active and passive moving attention. We are going to test a simple idea, but this is really important. The active version says we measured surface temperature every 10 minutes. And the passive version says surface temperature was measured every 10 minutes. Both can be correct, right? The active version places attention on the researcher's action, whereas the passive version places attention on surface temperature. Now look at the 4 contexts for each context. Now there will be 4 contexts coming. You have to choose whether active or passive is the option, right? Write A for active voice, P for passive voice. Do this quickly. We are actually not looking for a single rule. We are practicing context-based choice, right? Look at the context and make your choice. After you finish, I will ask which context justifies the passive best and why. So some of you have to be ready. Here comes the context. Now, in each of these 4, yes, context, what is the correct form? Can you use the chat space? Number and whether it is A or B, number and whether it is A or B, and send me your response. I'll ask your views. Now there are 4 contexts given. You have to answer for all 4. Don't be hurried to enter your chat because you have to finish the answer and then send it. When the method decisions are the paragraph focus, what do you think is the best? Active or passive? So let's go one by one. Let's go one by one. No worries. When method decisions are the paragraph focus, what is the best? Active or passive? Well, I want more answers to come in, then I'll ask from some of you. Come on. Well, while you're answering, let me ask some of you to answer. Well, now, Nisalya, you choose active voice for the first. Method decisions are the paragraph focus. Can you tell me why and what is your reason?
Because we want to keep the not the research as the focus, right? We have to keep the method or the decision as the focus point.
So then, is it active or passive voice that goes best?
It's active.
Well, can I hear from Akila? Why did you choose active voice
Yes.
for the methods?
Yes. What I thought was method decisions. When you write a method decision, so it has to have an action and has to be done by someone. So I felt so it's the active voice would be the best rather than the passive one.
All right. But contrasting to these answers, Kenula choose something else. Kenula, can you justify your reason?
I'm so sorry. I'm taking it from my. This is Mahesh. Really, I'm taking it from my son's gadget. That is why his name. I'll quickly change it.
All right,
So,
Mahesh, go ahead.
yeah. So for me, it's look like more objective than a little bit of a subjective. So when you look at the paragraph, so I felt like it's good to have it look more objective oriented rather so later maybe. There will be like some subjective kind of sentences, but overall I felt it's look more objective.
All right. Can I hear from Tilanka from ENTC?
I chose B option because the method decisions emphasis in the version B.
Well, Eshadi, have you got something to say?
So why I chose B is because it doesn't focus on who did it, but mainly focuses on what is the method. So that's why.
All right. All right. Let's move on to the second context. Now, to tell you my view, now you all have your own views and I have my own view as well. Now, when it comes to methods, method decisions actually is all about a writer's sole idea. Now, methods, results, and discussion are typically the writer's decisions, right? So everyone who reads it knows that it comes from writer's intention backed by literature, and your methodology and all those things are decided based on a thorough analysis of previous literature. So whatever decision that you take in methods is your decision. Well, when you report your decision, we are clear who reports. No worries. But at the same time, if you go for active voice, you are still giving your decisions a light. And at the same time, if you give passive voice, what happens is, in the same weight of the decision as well as the decision maker, we keep both in equal emphasis when we use passive voice. Now, there are 4 instances which passive voice helps. I'm not going to reveal all the 4 instances, but I'll reveal one instance here. What is it? When you feel like the doer as well as the result, or rather the action, is equally important, then I opt to use passive voice. That is the standard norm in academic writing. When you give emphasis equally to the doer as well as the action, or rather the result, we put it in passive voice. Say, for example, imagine that you want to declare that in a sentence, you want to highlight both Elizabeth as well as Victoria Dam. Now, Victoria Dam was declared open by Queen Elizabeth. Now, what is the emphasis here? Declaring it open is equally important as who did it. So when we want to report both in equal weight, we use passive voice. Keep that in mind, right? So all you have made as decisions are correct because your context is known to you and you know where it should come, right? Well, let's move on to second. Surface temperature is already the paragraph focus. Now, we come to a focus. The surface temperature is the paragraph's focus. Is it active or passive? Only Mary responded. Yes, others have responded above, right? No. Number 2, I'm waiting for your answers for number 2. Surface temperature is the paragraph focus. Most of you preferred passive voice, yes. When the action is important, we typically admit to passive voice. Okay, let's move on to third one. Researchers must show what they did. Third context, researchers must show what they did. The doer is important, yes, no doubt. Active would do. Okay. 4. The procedure is standard and actor is unimportant. Now, procedure is standard, actor is not so important. You would see in options 1 to 4, I have revealed you the 4 instances where active or passive decision should be taken, right? We are not looking for a single rule. We are actually practicing context-based choice. So I think now you are convinced it's not just a decision of active or passive, and we are actually overcoming 2 myths. Active is more academic and formal, So passive is more academic and formal. That's also a myth. And active is the best alternative for scientific writing. That is the second myth. So we are actually deciding whether it is active or passive based on the context which we want to highlight in the particular instance. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. A useful passive has a job. Use passive when it improves the sentence. It can actually, a passive voice sentence can direct attention to the object or the process. Simply, it's taking attention to object or the process. It can background an actor who is obvious and unimportant. Now, the actor, the doer, may be kept in the background behind the screen. Obviously not so important, right? It can help you avoid a long and awkward active subject. Herd, in his book, says, useful principle is not to destroy every passive sentence. It is to use the active voice unless the passive makes that particular sentence more effective. Use the active unless the passive makes that sentence more effective. Now look at the simple norm, is it? This is just William B. Herd's idea, right? You do not need to take it as the oracle or rather the blueprint because he is coming from Stanford, right? It's not the case. But you see, use the active voice unless the passive makes the sentence more effective. So he advises you to be active, but in case if passive becomes more effective, use passive. That's the norm, he says. Okay, that is a good working rule for you all. In your worksheet, write one sentence beginning. Now it is worksheet time. Now, based on this understanding, write one sentence. Beginning, I would retain the passive because. From the previous slide, from 1 to 4 context, choose a context from the previous slide. So you are going to write your learning. I would retain the passive voice when or because. Just enter your entry to your worksheet. Once you're done, give me a thumbs up so that I know that we can move on. All right. I just got one thumbs up only, which means others might be still working on it. All right, I've got 2 thumbs up. Am I making your Sunday horrible, my dear friends? Or am I making your Sunday a worthwhile investment for your research writing? You can answer my question towards the end of the session, right? Not now. Too early to make a decision, right? Okay, all right. You all give me, now the thumbs up are surfacing, which means you are done with, right? Well, so I'm highlighting once again Herd's norm. What his norm is, use the active voice unless the passive voice makes the sentence more effective. Now, your choice between active or passive should be a decision that you take based on how effective your sentence in the eyes of the reader, right? All right, let's move on. We are going to do another mini task whose finding is this. Ownership must be visible. This is ownership, the second part. We have concluded V in the voice framework, voice, visibility, right? V stands for visibility. Now we are coming to O, which is about ownership. In research writing, readers must know whose finding is being discussed. Is it the present study? Is it previous literature? Is it general scientific claim? Or is it unclear? Now I'm going to give you 5 sentences. The first one, it has been shown, may sound academic, but do you see, it does not immediately tell the reader who showed it. Getting me? What about the second? Previous studies have shown that elevated humidity reduces sensor accuracy. Now you see, it has been shown is replaced with previous studies have shown. You see, things are becoming clearer. Let's move on to third sentence. Without just telling previous studies, we come into a next level. Fernando and others reported that elevated humidity reduced sensor accuracy. So what happens? It names the author group who actually have done it. Right? Now let's move on to fourth sentence. Our results indicate that elevated humidity reduced sensor accuracy. This clearly says that the claim comes from the present study. Now you see, you refer to the previous study's claims first, and then you surface your study's claim. Now you see, we are looking at the fifth. It presents the relationship as established knowledge. Elevated humidity reduces sense accuracy. Now you see, from the literature it is proven, and in our study also it is proven. Now we propose it as a fact. The fifth sentence presents the relationship as established knowledge that may be appropriate only if the field already accepts it. Now, think silently, then we will discuss. If your thinking is done, one of you can unmute and disturb this silence and tell me, what did you understand as the O in voice framework, ownership? Why it matters? Can somebody help me? Think silently and let me know. I would love if a volunteer can speak. You can actually look at the 5 sentences that you see on screen, and from which you can determine your logic. You can decide on what your logic is by looking at the 5 instances. Shall I invite one of you, or rather I would love if a volunteer can speak. What did you learn here?
I think, sir, if it's required to really make a very strong case rather to a general case, so we will see the ownership more strongly in the sentence. So if again, if it is like, trying to bring some new kind of data to the already studied something, so it's emphasizing it's not only them, even like our study does that one. So adding that ownerships make more sense. So it's more like, reinforcing the idea, whatever already like, found. So I think when researcher want to show the evidence are more close and important and relevant to the study area, so the ownership is more visible. If it is like a general assessment or a general conclusion, so then it's look like ownership is not that important. That's my observation.
Thank you, Mahesh, for your wonderful what we call clearing. Now, if you just look at each of these claims, you have to question whether who the owner is, whether it is previous literature, is it current study or general knowledge. And there are instances where things become unclear. You should not leave any gray area or rather gray guess. You should not allow your reader to guess or rather, imagine or hypothesize on their own, because you have already set your own hypothesis and you have done the work, and your duty is to communicate it without any doubt. So, revealing the ownership of whatever the information that you are presenting, whatever the decision that you are bringing in, is really important. Can I hear from one more what you understood in this episode of the task? Now, why do I invite you to speak is because, when I articulate something, it is absorbed in diverse levels by you all. And when we all can share it, it becomes what? It becomes a place where we learn from each other, right? So that's what I want to happen here. Can I invite one of you? Udara, if you are there, can you just speak a little about this ownership concept in our framework?
Sure, sir. From what I understood, if you're making a claim, it should clearly show where it has come from. The reader should be able to tell whether it's based on a previous research or a current study or a scientific general knowledge. So using vague phrases might hide ownership and put the legitimacy of the claim bit down under.
Indeed, that is exactly what we want to know. Okay, all right. Can I hear from Sandhani from the management field? How did you understand it?
Yes, actually, I also think that mostly it depends on how we want to present an idea. So depending on that, we can think what kind of an ownership that we are going to represent to the reader. So I would say there is nothing wrong with any of these ways of writing. So it's all about how we want to represent or how we want to show the ownership. It can be the study, it can be sometimes the previous studies, it can be sometimes the author. So it depends on the requirement, and on the requirement how the writer wants to represent or keep the ownership of the piece of writing that the author is writing.
Thank you. And can I hear from Sai Krishna?
It's about in the research that how we are going to own that we are going to claim the ownership. It's about the previous research or current research following or for the general statement. So that's all I got it from.
Well, the sole idea that I want to give you here is quite simple. Your reader must know where this information coming from which background data, from which previous research, or is it coming from your research? The ownership of your presenting, or rather your facts, should be clearly stated. We should not let our reader guess, or rather, hypothesize, oh my God, this must be this, and this must be previous literature. That suspicion is simply beating around the bush without telling from where it comes from. So your research narration should be as clear as that, to show whatever claim you make should be indicated with clear statement, or rather clear depiction of the ownership of that particular fact that you're presenting it. All right, let's move on. This is because ownership actually creates errors, and it can confuse reader from where it all comes from, right? Now, before we are moving on to the break, you see, when you refer to previous literature, when you vaguely say previous literature, your reader does not know who the hell this previous literature is meant. But if you say Fernando et al., or rather whatever the name and all that, you clearly indicate which previous research, right? And when you come to reveal your findings, you say current study, our study, this study. So you distinguish between what the previous studies claim and what you found. And if it is something general, or rather which is accepted all through everywhere in your field, you do not need to give ownership to any of previous literature or your study, because it's something known. Now keep in mind, giving a citation in text alone may not make ownership clear enough. You may need to bit of adjust your claim in your what? In your writing, revealing who the owner is. Now you have a task. Revise one unclear sentence by naming the responsible source. Maybe this is from, let's see. Now this is all coming from the second resource book that I'm using, that is Wahlberg. And his strong point here is a sentence can be grammatically correct, but still confuse the reader because it hides who did what. In literature reviews particularly, and in introductions and discussions, this is a serious problem. When you move from another author's work to your own work, when you switch between the other's research and your work, make the shift visible and clear, right? A citation can help, but sometimes the citation alone is not doing the job, right? Especially if the reference comes at the end of a long sentence. You see, the reader has to wait until the sentence ends to see where and who did it and who the owner is. Please revise one unclear sentence from the previous slide. I'll keep the previous slide open. You can revise one of these unclear sentences. You can name the author group, use previous studies, use our results, or state the main claim as established knowledge only if that is justified. Okay, let me show you the previous slide to see what are the instances that we want you to work on. And with that, we'll be going for a short break. I know that you need a coffee break now. Have it. We'll go for 5 minutes break. And in the meantime, I want you to do this task. What is it? Revise one unclear sentence by naming the responsible source. Now, these are the 5 sentences. You can revise any of these sentences to make it much more clear, right? So with that, we'll be going for the break. Now it is 9:56. I want you to be back at 10:01 or 10:02. All right? Okay, work on. Keep your worksheet open and do it. Not 10 minutes, it's 5 minutes, yes. These are the sentences. I'll also be going on mute and Friends, I'm back. I have given actually more than the promised time. So I'm sure you all are also back. Hello? Please come back on screen. We have to move forth. So, perfect. How do you all feel now? Now, based on the responses I received from you on the first day and on the second day, I'm sort of altering my pedagogy to fit it into much more of an investment, because most of the time, if I'm just preaching from here and you're just listening or recording it from there, it's not going to work at the end of the day. So it's invest. All time is invest. So I want to convert invest time to an investment, right? I think this parallel structure where we go with the worksheet as well as the simple quick decisions at a time, and dealing with a little discussion, all that works to a certain extent here. So we'll go ahead with that. So we are moving to Mini-task 5. We are building up a confidence ladder. Now remember, a claim should match the evidence. What does it mean? Look at the sentence, the results, then there is a blank. That the coating reduces corrosion. The verb you choose controls the strength of the claim. Choose one word from the given below. Which verb is justified? Quickly fill it and send me your verb. Not the whole sentence, but just your verb. You may see that the verb you choose controls the strength of the claim, right? And you see that prove is very strong and rarely justified in ordinary experimental writing. I'm not going to discuss all options, but I'm waiting for you to respond. With which verb you are going to fill this blank? Just type the verb alone and send it here. I've got only 2 responses, okay. You decide, and you can, after taking the decision, you can think why the hell that you take that decision, and I'll be asking for your explanations later. Well, the only thing you have to keep in mind is that the verb you choose controls the strength of the claim. Now look at the strength of your claim. If someone says prove, that's very strong. If you say suggest, it's very cautious, yeah. Well, Hiruni, can you speak? Why do you use suggest? You must be having a reason to choose suggest.
Yes, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, go ahead.
So I would choose suggest because since this is a small and was conducted only a laboratory setting that without field testing, so I think suggest would show that the results point towards a possible effect, but do not fully prove. So that was my idea for selecting such.
Thank you. And Lashini choose indicate. Lashini, can you tell me why?
Yes, I choose indicate because it says like this is a small lab sample with no field testing. So if I choose for this sentence, it is because it gives the uh, it just give the results that what we have been doing. And if we choose prove, that means then we have to go for like a big test results, and then we have to go for prove or demonstrate. And if we go for the suggest and the may indicate, that may just decrease the validation of our results. So I just choose the indicate instead of choosing the show, because I choose it because to match for the scientific writing.
Well, thank you. And Harshini choose prove. Any reason, Harshini? Because you are coming from chemical and process engineering background. You may have reason to choose prove.
Yes, sir. Am I audible?
Yes.
Proven can be done by either in a laboratory testing or by field testing or by both. This has completed a laboratory study. That's why I selected prove, but further testing is required. But anyway, the laboratory study proves, or the laboratory study gives validated data on this particular thing. I suggest that the word prove should come to the blank.
Now, friends, I want to make a decision on top of that, just an addition to what she says. Now, her disciplinary thinking is, actually, she is from chemical and process engineering, so that there is a great deal of precision involved in, chemical level laboratory experiments. In these cases, with high reliability, they can actually say certain things true or not so proven. But that is her context, right? And she admits to the fact that, yes, it can be proven in either context and perhaps both in lab as well as in the field. So lab test passing is a good indicator, a benchmark to say that it's proven, right? So, but it does not mean that the very word true is fairly usable in every domain. But once again, for you also, I would love to say, Harshani, that prove is a very strong, really justified context. Because this is partly, what you're doing is partly an experimental writing. You do your experiment and you report it. And proving is actually require a lot of what we call replica, or rather a lot of replication of your study. When it is tested now, say for example, the boiling point of water is a proven thing. So that can be proven again, right? But just with an experimental design where by passing just a lab sample and which is not, which is open to field testing, I advise you not to use a word like prove. Just an advice. It does not mean that I'm rejecting your answer, right? And one more thing about this particular thing. The stronger verbs and how you can hedge, or rather, how you can dilute your claims to the context, making it stronger or not so stronger, is something that we will be discussing in session 10, which we call the hedging. I'm not going to look much about this hedging job today. Session 10 will treat discussion, claims, and limitations in detail, there where we actually talk about hedging. Keep that in mind. We'll be taking that into the discussion later. But what you want to do here is quite clearly, your verb is a careful decision that you should make when you report your findings. Well, let's move on and navigate it further. So now we are coming to, now we were at voice framework. C is the confidence. Confidence in the sense how confident you are in reporting your results, your findings, your what we call conclusions and all that. So confidence is actually a ladder. You have to indicate, you know what this quantum, or rather the gray area between 0 and 1, there is a huge space which is now the concern, right? So you cannot dare say in your statement 0 or 1, or rather yes or no. So it is conditional to how strong your evidences are that you report such a confidence in your writing. So it's a ladder. You can choose a step somewhere on the bottom or in the top or in the center, somewhere in the ladder, but confidence is a ladder. That step which your ladder indicates is a decision made visible via your strong evidences, how strong your experiment is. So quite simple. After setting up the whole idea of voice framework, confidence is a ladder. You have to build it up with careful use of language, particularly the verbs. And on this regard, we'll be discussing in session 10 as I promised. And with that, we are moving to the 6th step, mini task 6, which is about removing unnecessary weight. Now, we talk about something called economy, right? Economy, it is not, losing the meaning. It is not losing the word count. It is not losing anything, but it is actually leaving out all unnecessary things and keeping necessary things alone to ensure that you economically, without giving an extra burden to your reader, you communicate your research story, right? So this is the final lens, because we are going into a pair studio next, right? Economy is, as I said, is not simply making sentences short. A short sentence can perhaps be a very vague expression. A longer sentence can be necessary in places where it is required. Economy means removing weight that does not carry meaning. Now see, removing weight that does not carry meaning. If it does not meaningfully bring an input to your claim, you can actually remove them. Look at the first heavy sentence. You see, the real action is analyze, and the real purpose is to identify. You see, the direct version is easier to read and loses no scientific meaning. It loses no scientific meaning. Look at the second example. The use of the model enabled the prediction of energy demand to be made. Becomes the model predicted energy demand. Now you see, an analysis of the samples were carried out in order to make an identification of the dominant compound. We analyze the sample to identify the dominant compound. You see, just making it heavy does not simply mean that you are passing a correct message. Maybe a direct expression would do it much better. Now, you're going to revise what? two heavy sentences in your worksheet and count how many words can be removed. Your worksheet has heavy sentences, and I'm inviting you to reduce their word count and make it less burdensome. Are you there? You have about 5 minutes to deal with this. Look at the second example. The use of the model enabled the prediction of energy demand to be made. The model predicted energy demand. Just compare the heavy and the direct expression. Heavy and the direct. So you see the direct expression passes the idea smoothly so that we are reducing the burden put on your reader. Hope you are getting me. Now, refer to your worksheet. Revise the two heavy sentences in your worksheet and count how many words you removed. Take about 2 minutes. You can do it in 2 minutes, I'm sure. And this is going to be the last simple individual decision making we are going to do. We are going to do a pair job in the next slide and in the next comment, making a bit of a communication between A and B, two of you, putting all what we did into a real-time practice session. Once you're done, give me a thumbs up so that I know you're done. You see, when you're revising the sentences, you'll see that, there's a heavy word load that you can reduce. And the reduction of that itself is an ease that you give to your reader. And remember, when you're writing, you have to accommodate your reader to the maximum. You know why? It's your work that they are going to read, investing their precious time on reading you, so that it is your duty to give them a worthwhile reading, for which you are going to reduce unnecessary weight. Write it in economy. I'm sure you all are working on the worksheet task. Once you're done, let me know with a thumbs up so that I know that we can move on. Yeah. It begins to start thumbs up. Thank you. All right. So let's move on. Now we are coming to a pair work, Voice Revision Studio. This is one continuous breakout activity, not several separate rooms. First, you will diagnose a common paragraph. Second, you will revise it together. Together in the sense, two of you. Third, student A will share their paragraph and student B will ask the 4 questions on the worksheet, you see. And then you switch the roles. Finally, you will prepare one report sentence. Now, this is going to be a fair work so that none of you can dodge. You have to switch the roles, ask the same question, and come into a final judgment. You not try to correct every grammar error. Ask whether the actor is visible, whether the ownership is clear, whether the focus suits the context, whether the claim is justified, and whether the wording can be more direct. Voice is clear, actor is visible, ownership is clear, VO. Information focus is suitable to the context. I. C. Whether the claim is justified and whether the wording can be removed and make it more direct. Those are the 4 questions that you have to answer, right? Stay with one partner, use the worksheet as your guide, and engage in this task. Are you ready? If you give me your thumbs up, I can divide you into breakout rooms. Thank you. Now we have about 47. When I reduce myself, it is 46, which means we have to create 23 breakout rooms, right? And shall I allow you to choose the participant group or no? I'll assign automatically. That will take a lot of time unless. Is the activity clear? You can refer to the worksheet if you have any issue. Let me create your breakout room. Don't leave the class, please. Everyone stay there because all these are contributing to what? Your portfolio with which I'm going to assess you all, right? All right, let's divide the class into breakout groups. Here we go. Join your group. Go ahead with your work. Friends, what about you who are still here? Two of you are still here. Please make a fair and go there. Tivira and Shavindi.
Yes, sir.
So you don't know where your group is, right?
It's missing, sir. Please.
Well, let me see. Well, let me throw you to groups.
Okay, sir.
You got yours?
I accepted, sir, but I didn't go.
Well, let me see where I can send you. Savindi, go to room number 11. All right. Marsha, where were you in? Which group?
I was in the group too. I didn't get partner.
I didn't get a pass, right? Okay, let me see. I'll throw you to room number 11. There is someone without a partner.
Okay.
Accept it and go there. Diane, you missed?
My initial breakout room number was breakout room number 21, and my partner was left the group. So
Well,
I
don't
am,
worry. I'll send you to a place where there isn't a partner, right?
yeah, yeah, okay, thank you very much.
Okay, now accept it and go.
Hello, sir.
Hello, Timur.
Yes, sir. I go to my room, but I did forget. I lost connection. That therefore I may log out. Log out from the Zoom. Now I need to go again that rooms. The room
Okay,
number
let
I
me see
didn't
where.
remember.
Okay, let me
The
see.
Bhagya is the other guy. Impil Bhagya from architecture. That's group I.
Well, Timur, all the other groups, Bhagya. Bhagya is seemingly not there, it seems. And all these groups are seemingly having all two members. And member ගිහිල්ලා මට පේන්නේ. It's
Yes,
all
sir.
right.
She also left. Okay, sir. I will do that alone. If he
Yeah, please,
not
please. Yeah, please do it by yourself.
can. Okay, sir.
You can stay here, no worries. And
Okay.
unless you'll be losing the connectivity to main room. Okay, go ahead, Buddha. Do it.
Okay, sir.
So friends, I just thought of getting you back into main group because I actually wanted you to deal with the common paragraph issue. I'm sure that most of you, all of you are done with that part. Are you? Hello, can I hear from you? Are you
Still,
guys
still we can't complete this task.
right? So is it the case with many? Yeah, for some of you that is the case. All right, all right. So the very purpose here is for you to do a bit of a common exercise first so that both members actively employ the voice framework to change and make it more visible, more what we call more Reader's Digest, with which you are going to make a clear research production. I'll be putting you back in breakout group soon. Just see what you are supposed to do. Now, once you're done with your own work, the common paragraph, I want you to move on to your own paragraph as well. But I know that we don't have enough time for that task here in the breakout room. So my suggestion is, you know who your partner right now is, right? Get their contacts ready, and maybe after the class, you all can work your individual thing, move to your own paragraph and revise it, and then go to this interaction, maybe beyond the classroom time schedule at your convenience. I want each individual to actually, you are doing something from your own writing, and you produce it to your friend, and you get the feedback, and you revise. So this output should be part of your portfolio submission. So is that part clear? Hello, friends.
Yes, sir.
Right. So bringing your common paragraph editing practice to your own personal paragraph editing, I want you to actually change the way that you were looking at the paragraph. And now doing this in pair, I saw, I happened to peep into almost all the groups, and I saw that how well you are doing. Some of you are using your mother tongue to express ideas, it's all right. What I want you to do is, quite simply look at this writing process from a different perspective, because you are going to produce your research as a story to be read by a whole blank audience. And they should be able to, without much effort, without much cognitive load, they should be able to read your research and, give you the best respect, or rather get best response possible. So that is the purpose. And I think before I pull you back in breakout group, maybe for I'll be giving you 10 minutes more for back to the breakout groups, not to finish the whole activity, but to, develop your rapport between the two and, share your views about the common paragraph. And if you are done with your common paragraph, then move on to your own work and do it. And if you do not have the time, yes, you can do it after the class time, because you know who your partner is. You can use any interaction media to do it. And I want the submission at the end of the day. So with that, let me pull you back to your breakout rooms right now, so that you can complete whatever is remaining, right? Join your friend there. Charit, can't you join your group?
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Can you assign the group number 5?
You're Deshika, right?
Yeah.
All right. All right, friends. I know that once again I troubled your breakout room activity. I knew that you all were doing great. So now I want you all to post on chat the combined, what you call, report sentence of the common paragraph, not your individual word. Please post it in chat quickly.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
So we had sort of a difficulty reading your messages while we are in the breakout rooms. It was just popped up and disappeared like we couldn't read.
It's all right. Nothing very significant was there. I was just, reminding you time and the simple tasks that I expected.
Okay, sir.
No worries.
Again, also in the chat, we can't see the messages from others.
Yes, that is a mistake. Yeah. So I should enable everyone. Yes. Now it must be visible. I'm sorry, these technical arrangements were all missed. So friends, we have a couple of responses here. Those who have posted it in direct message, make sure that you post it back again in the everyone in meeting option. Show it to everyone in the meeting. So, friends, how it all went today? We actually did not do a very big puzzle, rocket science-like thing, but we were doing something which is appealing and which needs careful attention, typically overcoming or rather falsifying some of the big and great myths and narratives available. We happen to actually challenge them. And we individually, I wish you all realize that voice is something that you all have to determine without just looking at, the active or passive simple dialogue that everyone talks about. So let me invite a couple of you groups to share how your experience was. Can I invite Harshani and the group? You have posted your resulting paragraph. Can you tell us briefly, not in lengthy talks, just tell us briefly how you did and what made it appealing or rather boring?
Yes, for sure. You want an idea on that diagnosing the common paragraph?
Yes.
So we have observed that some of the things which have to be included towards the beginning of the sentences are mentioned in the latter part of the sentence, of the paragraph. And it mentions like similar findings have been reported in previous studies, which was not properly mentioned that who is the researcher, or a proper way of reference is missing here. Rather than writing previous studies, it should have been elaborated more, and it should come towards the beginning of the paragraph. And also, some sentences can be merged here, like in second and third sentences can be merged, and more validated data have to be reported here to prove this more scientifically. And some words, some unnecessary words are mentioned here, where sometimes we have observed that direct sentences have to be made rather than including a number of words. So that direct point is missing due to the usage of unnecessary words in the paragraph. Those are the main things we have observed in this paragraph.
All right. I would love to hear from two more groups. So you just state with this opening, our most important lesson about scientific style is what? I'm not going to name any of you groups, but any of the volunteers can try out your opportunity.
Hi, this is Mahesh, and I work with Chaturya. So two of us made the group, and so both of us are not coming from the kind of a background which that particular paragraph is representing. So for us, like, we are new readers of to the subject itself too. So therefore we were really trying to understand, and we thought it need to be more clearer. And so when we are working on that, and we realize, as the previous colleague said, so there are ideas which can make combine or merge together to make it more clearer, so we can understand the relationship of these two different sentences. So for us, we thought our most important learning about the scientific style, maybe you are not adding connecting kind of words in between, so which can take us slightly away from the connection. So merging the importance idea together, we can read it as a one unit. So and when we rewrite that one, we realize, so if it is combined, it's make more sense. For example, the last sentence we were talking, it says about like, there are a lot of the previous studies took like one sentence with like 8-9 words, which is like, we just can say as per previous studies proved, or according to the previous studies, or something like that. So we don't need to read so many words in between very heavy scientific kind of a learning process. So earlier, the vocabulary is very high, then suddenly you come to like, oh, there are blah, blah, blah. So I felt like, this economy is kind of a thing we learn, and the combining and merging things, like, so that helped us to understand as a, like, none of that subject matter readers, make it more clearer for us.
Thank you, Mahesh. And I'm glad that, if you found a statement or other paragraph which is not from your field, but still you try to make it appealing to you, yeah, this is the kind of exercise I expected, because I'm not in a position to make a simple sentence which is applicable to everyone, right? So I think that worked well. Thank you very much. Can I hear from one more group? Our most important lesson about scientific style is what? Just say me that part, that secret. Can I invite the group where Pasan worked? Pasan, please share your views. Hello, Pasan, are you there?
Hello, I'm audible. Hello.
Yes, Pasan. Can you share what you all felt, and what is the most important lesson about scientific style that you learned from this exercise?
So from the revised paragraph, we learn we first go through the visibility section. We experience that in paragraph manner. We experience the paragraph is less visible, so the resources are more hidden in that paragraph. So that to make the paragraph more expressive, the visibilities need to be there. And when it comes to ownership, the ownership of the statement should be clear, so that the source of conclusion is very clear to the read for the reader. So when it comes to the information, so the information should be more in the paragraph. There was more vegan focus, such as the heat treatments and especially and results are more less focused. So they are need to, when we come to a statement, the information need to be more focused. When we also make a claim, we have to be more clear about our confidence level. So we make high when we make high confidence about what we can't clearly claim. That can cause problematic in scientific domain. So that's the main outcomes experienced through the session.
Thank you, Pasan. And I'm sure that you all have learned, as we did last time, a wonderful framework, voice, to look into your writing process in a totally brand new, what we call penmanship. You all are to write your research to make it appealing and responsible for your reader. So you were trying out to help your reader with this process. Does it make any sense for all of you? Can you just give me at least a thumbs up or an emotion? I'll understand whether it worked or not. If it is really bad, you give me a thumbs down. Thank you. Thank you for your responses. Great. Great. All right. So what we expect from today's work is we want you to convert today's work into a portfolio artifact 3. So you have an original paragraph. You're going to do a voice framework diagnosis on it, and you're going to write the revised paragraph, and you bring that back to your peer, the one who worked right now, and you get their preview, their reviews as well. And then you write a decision commentary and finish your checklist and upload it to the Moodle for me to view. And all those things all together collectively will go into your portfolio, where you'll see after, when you look back, you will see from where you've been evolving into, right? So do that part and make sure that you submit the portfolio artifact before the deadline. And this checklist needs to be filled there. And submit the completed worksheet as portfolio 3 artifact. Include original and both revised paragraphs. Explain at least 3 decisions you made there. And use maximum 150 words to the commentary, right? This will be a complete revise or resubmit sort of result will be given to you. When I get time, I'll give my feedback on it. So this is how we are progressing. And I want to have one simple final thought here. Please complete this exit sentence in that chat. Yeah, use the chat space. Authorial voice in scientific writing is not about making myself constantly visible. It is about, so it's not about you pop up in every part of the sentence, but it is something, what you sense it is, right? Maybe some of you would say it is about taking responsibility, or others might say helping the reader know. So whatever you learn from today, let me know what it is. And one more thing, next week on the Thursdays, now you see, I'm reducing much of what we call attention diverging activities. I'm trying my best to get you all involved through the worksheet as well as live activities to ensure that the entire class is working on a given scaffolding schema. And I sense that it is working here. Next week, we'll be looking at how AI-assisted research writing and human responsibility, that is the topic that we're going to do next week. So it's about, you are blessed with the AI assistants, right? And I'm not advising you to completely ignore it. You can make use of that tool for your research writer. And even with the support of them, how we can ensure our authorial voice, and of course, how yourself as an author can distinctly appear even in an AI-supported writing context. So, nowadays your research is first filtered through AI writer similarity, and then for the plagiarism similarity and all that. So these challenges are there, and the session we are meeting on Thursday will assist you how to overcome that trouble of AI assisted writing and all that. So please send me your chat response, which will tell me how you felt today's session. And if any of you have got anything to say as a last word, maybe as a compliment or maybe as a criticism or whatever it is, I'm glad to hear that as well. With that, we can actually wind up. I would love to hear from some of you, at least one or two of you, how you felt it today.
This is Akila here. So I think we had a very good session today. I, of course, personally learned a lot, and I think this session would clearly have an impact on the way I write from here onwards, and at least I would try to improve it in terms of the voice framework. So yes, I think it was a very well spent Sunday morning, improving our writing. And one kind request, Prasanna, if you can show me the previous slide where you had the instructions for the submission, it would be really great and helpful. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Akhil. And I have actually uploaded the slides up to session 2. Even session 3 slides are uploaded. I'll upload the recordings as well as early as possible today so that those who have missed the session can follow through all this and, ensure their submission reach me before deadline. Anyone else who would like to share your views? Thank you, Akhil. Your response actually gave me lots of courage, it gives me a sense of what we call sense of pleasure that I'm doing something meaningful to you all. I would love to hear from one more, and then we can say goodbye and have our weekend priorities. Can I hear from one more? Ladies, how you all felt? Or maybe gentlemen, how you all felt?
As always, it's very helpful. Like, it's not only today. I found this is really helpful in general also. And even though we were writing a lot of papers, research, theses, and I realized we have never learned how to do it. So this is very, very important. Today, I again had a good time to sit and do it by myself. Like other few days I was running around. So it gives me a lot of confidence that I can do it, and there's a lot to learn. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mahesh. It was inspiring. Are there people who want to share their views? If not, we can actually say goodbye and, work on our weekend priorities. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much for, interacting. Mostly, thank you very much for, yes, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry for disturbing. I have a small clarification.
Yes,
So in the part 3, it says my original paragraph. So are we have to share one of our research writings or
yes,
one
indeed, you have to take one of those writings, maybe in any of your already written thing. You have to take one paragraph and do diagnosis with voice and, fine tune it for a better version and submit it. That is the artifact 3.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for tolerating me for 3 hours in this Sunday. Good luck. See you next week, Thursday, with the same spirit.
Thank you.